Crisis management is the discipline that is associated with helping a company get through a particular problem period. And that problem can come from any number of different sources. So perhaps there's a fire, perhaps there's a fraud. There can be any number of different triggers for a crisis in an organization. Crisis management is the discipline of addressing those issues quickly and helping the senior management team manage the problem appropriately and get through to the other side. There tend to be several distinct stages in crisis management, so that the first thing tends to be a disaster response, an initial response. So for obvious situations like a fire, there's a very strong involvement with emergency services and other teams, and the company is sort of a little bit it doesn't control its own destiny, because the emergency services and others will take over and get through that first phase. But it's important that the management team are ready and prepared to pick up the pieces and run with it through the rest of the crisis. And that might be in terms of, if we take fire as an example, that might be in terms of providing additional office accommodation, support to employees who are worried or concerned, or perhaps, in the worst case, if there's been any injuries or other. Those sorts of things need to be dealt with expressly by the crisis management team. And equally importantly, the company needs to think about its outward positioning as well. So is it the right time to speak to the media? What are the appropriate messages that should go out, and so on? So the whole discipline of how that's managed and how it's dealt with by the company is crisis management. Business continuity management is a broad discipline and really covers the preparations that can be made in advance, usually for a potential crisis, so that they can be activated later on to get the business back to usual as fast as possible. And that's the overarching priority. How do we get the business back to the state it was in before whatever event occurred? So sometimes the triggers for a business continuity activation can be from a crisis, from a disaster, from a fire, but might also be from an IT system collapse or something like that. And the business continuity plan, generally revolving around people, property and information, is really a process of trying to get the things for the company back into the position they were before the event happened. So there can be IT disaster recovery plans, there can be backup offices, all manner of different things can be planned for beforehand, which would be too difficult to do in the heat of a crisis. So if that planning is done beforehand and a business continuity plan is set up to deal with a specific event, then the company can just activate that plan and automatically has a way to get out of that problem, preferably faster than its competitors.